Welcome to the Delvin Cox Experience, the podcast in which each week I am on a one-man mission to unite the culture through diversity. I'm your host, Delvin Cox. And this week on the podcast, I have a special guest. Let them know who you are.
Hey, y'all. Hey, it's me, Tamra. Yes, from Tamra to the Break It Down podcast.
Now, if you don't know who that is, you will after the day.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
As always, we'd like to start the podcast off with the 5 for 5. 5 questions, 5 answers to get the ball rolling. Tamra, are you ready?
Yeah.
You don't sound like you're ready. Like,
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Question number 1. What is the best album or song listened to in the past year? Doesn't have to be new, by the way.
Good Lord. Because I don't even listen to music like that.
At all?
No, I was going to say, and when I do, it's definitely not new stuff. So, Music Soul Child, I'm trying to think of the album. The one with As Long As Your Love Don't Change. I love you when your hair turns gray, girl. That song. That album. So that's the one I've been listening to most.
Okay.
Yep.
A lot of people like Music Soul Child, so I'll take that as an acceptable answer.
Oh, you had like a choice to accept it or not? Wow. Okay.
No, not at all. Not at all. All right. Question number 2. Give me your top 5 favorite movies.
Bruh. Goonies for sure. That's definitely one.
Great choice.
Yes. Oh, so okay. Let me see if you could accept all 5 of these. Okay. The Temptations, the movie about the Temptations, the group.
I remember that movie. That movie's really good.
Yeah, I have that movie. Like, I love that movie. Man, I'm trying to think. I like Inception. I think it's DiCaprio.
Yes, that is correct.
Some other people, I don't know their names.
So let me ask you this then. Did you see Tenet?
No.
And Tenet is very similar to Inception.
Oh, really?
Yes. People kind of say it's a bad Inception. It's made by the same director.
Oh, okay.
Is
it out, like it just came out, Netflix? Like, where can I watch it?
It came out in theaters last year.
Okay. So 2020?
2020.
Okay.
2020. It came out 2020 in theaters, but obviously it flopped because nobody was in theaters.
Right.
But it's on demand now. I want to say you can buy the Blu-ray or you can rent it. So I recommend checking it out if you like Inception, you'll probably like Tenet. Tenet's weird like Inception in terms of how the plot is and stuff like that and weird stuff happening. Yeah, so if you like that type of movie, you might like it.
Can you message that to me? Because I'm going to forget the title.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, because I'm going to forget. All right, so how many was that? 3?
3.
I'm just trying to think of... There's this movie, Eagle Eye, with Shia LaBeouf, where it's like the government has some computer that's trying to take control of the world and they're trying to stop it because she's trying to override, like sniping government officials, all this crazy stuff.
I've never seen that movie. I've heard of it because it came out around, I want to say around the same time as the Will Smith movie like that.
What was his I Am or something?
Not I Am. It's another one. Enemy of the State.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. This one is a little bit different though because this is like some intelligent, like technology that they created just was doing too much. So it was a little.
So it's more like the one you named before the other Will Smith movie.
I Am, yeah. That's why I said I Am Legend or whatever it's called. We know he is somebody. That's what he is. All right, 4, 5. Juice. Yeah, Juice.
Juice is a great movie. Very slept on movie, by the way.
I don't know why, because Tupac really was like, Raheem got shot. Like, he didn't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he was I don't know.
I have an interesting story about you. It's not about juice, but I actually met the guy. I used to work in Einstein Bagels,
Hmm.
and Raheem used to come in there all the time,
Oh, I'm jealous. I
like
love
all the
him.
time.
I
And
follow him on Instagram.
and I was the only person who recognized him. It was so wild. Like, you know who that is? That's Raheem. He was like, man, go.
Has he been in anything else since that?
I don't think so.
I haven't
I
seen
know. I
it.
know he was during the time when it was happening. He was shooting a movie in the area, so he would come in there almost every day for like breakfast or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I would talk to him. Then he'd like, hey, I got you. I got your breakfast, man. Just be easy.
Okay.
But I remember him specifically coming in the store all the time, and nobody knowing who the hell he was. I'm like, you don't know who that is.
That's crazy.
Sound like y'all just damn white people. Leave me
Right. Like, how do you not know that? That's one of my. So I guess that's 5. Yes.
Yeah, those are great choices.
I'm
I gotta
glad you
watch Eagle.
approve. Yeah, it's really. I have that one too, and I don't buy. I buy movies that I will watch again because you know how you see those movies where it's like, okay, it was either all right or it was good, but I ain't gonna watch it again or bad. So I only buy movies that I don't mind watching over and over again, even though I already know what's gonna happen.
Oh, I'm a terrible person. I have a ridiculous DVD and Blu-ray collection. I probably have close to 1,000 Blu-rays and DVDs.
Man, I'm trying to think. Do I probably have 100, maybe a couple hundred, because but that's about it. And that's nothing compared. I'm 40, so I should have way more than that.
You shouldn't be telling everybody your age. They probably think you're way younger.
And that's why I like to tell people my age, because then they like, oh wow, or whatever. So it's okay. Ain't no shame.
All right. Question number 3. What is the dumbest thing you think you've done as a kid?
Man, I gotta pick one. Okay. When I was in high school, oh goodness. Okay, so me and my friends, matter of fact, I'm gonna ask her if she remembers this, but me and my friends, we had this plan that we were gonna skip school, and then they backed out on it. And instead of me going to school, I was just like, well, I don't feel like going to school, so I'm sticking to the plan. But the plan that I chose was I just stayed in the attic all day. Don't I know. So so I stayed in the attic all day, and I heard my parents, like the school called, and they were like, Tam didn't go to school, because that's what my family calls me. And so then I heard all that. I knew they knew, but hey, I'm sticking to it like it's real, like I believe it. So they're like, did you go to school? Yeah, I went to school. Well, the school called. I'm like, well, that's weird because I was at school. But that was dumb because I wasted a skip day in the attic and slept all day. So
yeah, that's a weird place to hang out at. Just in the attic.
Yeah, I don't. That's all I remember. I don't. Yeah.
I used to. We had this thing when I was in school. I guess they call it National Skip Day.
Yep.
And what we do was we go to school till lunch, and then as soon as lunch hit, like 11:40, we all hit the beach or go to the mall. They can't do that no more, by the way. That is not a thing you can do nowadays. Like,
no,
you can't just leave school at noon. Talk about I'm going to the mall or going to the beach. That is not a thing.
We used to have open campus for finals week or whatever. So we'd have where for lunch they had like a 2-hour block or something for lunch, and we could leave campus and do all this stuff. And then there was fighting with the rival school at a Godfather. So then they shut all that down.
Yeah, we had my senior year of school was the last year they had open campus where everybody can go out for lunch, stuff like that, because the year before, which is a horrible story, but this actually happened. This is horrible. This is god-awful, but this is why they closed the campus down. A girl was going to school there. I think she was a couple years younger than me. She didn't come back to school for lunchtime. And when classes started back up, she was sitting on the bus stop with her boyfriend, drive-by shooting in front of the school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the girl died. And since that moment right there, no more open campuses. Because she was supposed to be in class at the time. She was outside with her boyfriend.
Did he die too?
I think he lived, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
He was an older guy too. I do remember that. He didn't go to school. He was an older guy.
Were they gunning for him, or that was just completely random?
I'm 90% positive they were gunning for him.
See, ooh.
I remember this specifically because I think I was in 11th grade when this happened. And the girl was in 10th grade. But the next year, they were slowly starting. They're like, okay, 9th and 10th graders can't go outside for lunch. Only 11th and 12th graders can. Then when I left, it was like, nobody can go outside.
That's crazy.
And that's when they started doing the whole, we got a built-in McDonald's in the school.
Oh, okay. Well, they had a solution. We didn't get all that. It was just, you can't do this no more. Period.
They hooked it up. They brought in food trucks.
Oh.
So they had a McDonald's food truck, a Subway food truck.
What state did you go to school in when they was doing all this?
Oh, this was in Miami. This is the funny thing about it. This was Miami-Jackson Senior High School.
Oh, so you born and raised in Miami.
Yeah, and this school was legit in the hood. So the fact that they had brought all these food trucks in there, it's crazy. I
got a friend that, how long has she been in Miami? A year, 2 max. She's a hairstylist down there.
Well, this is a great place to be if you're a hairstylist. I'll tell you that much.
Because she was saying how she had, she moved from here. So I live in Nebraska. She moved from here down there, and she was doing whatever with her brother's kids, watching them or something, and working at a grocery store because she had to get her license down there or whatever to be able to work down there. And then she finally got all that situated and quit the job she had because she was like, I could do 3 haircuts
and make all that money.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, okay, must be nice. So yeah, that's cool.
All right. Question number 4. Your pizza. Pineapples or no pineapples?
Yes, absolutely, with Canadian bacon. Yep, and extra cheese. Yep.
So pineapples, Canadian bacon, extra cheese? Why pineapples?
Because I don't even know.
We was almost here. Then you said the pineapples.
I'm sorry I disappointed you. I didn't, but I wasn't gonna lie to you. I know a lot of people don't. I feel like we talked about this on Twitter, but
we probably have.
I don't know. See, we ain't eye to eye on food. We already know that.
I know.
So
I had a bad experience with pineapples. And I can tell you what happened. When I was a kid, I remember this specifically. Somebody in my family, I know it couldn't have been my immediate family because no one in my family says this at all or denies. I think it was my uncle on my dad's side of the family ordered a pizza with pineapple and anchovies.
Oh, okay, that's different.
And it was so gross.
Yeah,
I never wanted to eat pineapples on a pizza ever again.
Man, that's unfortunate because he ruined it for you because pineapple with Canadian bacon and extra cheese, it is good.
And the crazy thing about it is he was the cool uncle because he had the arcade cabinets in his basement and stuff like that. And I want to go over his house, but then he ordered that trash pizza and just ended it for me.
Did you ever go over there again, or you was like, I'm done with you at that point?
That may have been one of the last times I went.
Wow. Okay, so I guess y'all probably never hear my voice again, y'all, since
you good.
Since I eat pineapples on the pizza, and you gonna have me. And man, okay, so you know how I was like, do you need me to do anything? I was hoping, because you have acting productions and all this stuff on here. I thought I was going to have to get in my acting bag and get in character, but
nah, not at all. Nah.
I was ready. I was prepared. I was ready.
I gotta have you do a whole acting thing now.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 5. Now you listen to the show, so you probably know what this one is. Zombie apocalypse is happening, Walking Dead style. You got to take 5 things with you in the world to survive. What are the 5 things you take with you to survive? Family and pets don't count because they automatically coming with you.
So
Unless you don't like them, then you can leave them at home because somebody actually told me that in a previous episode. Like, I don't want to take them.
So my phone for sure.
Okay.
Which does the charger count as part of the phone combo? Can we please?
That is all one thing. When you buy a phone,
Okay.
well,
Okay.
you used to be able to buy a phone and it come with a charger. Not anymore.
I know, it's so weird. Okay, so phone, a mic, my mic that plugs into my phone because hey, I'm gonna need to document what's going on.
That's a good point.
So that's two things. Food.
I will count food as a third thing, yes.
Yeah, like this is hard because I don't think I need anything else if I have my family.
You don't need nothing else to survive.
I mean, a weapon.
Yeah, you might need at least
like a knife to cut something. Do like a knife set. That's one thing because they have a knife that I could stab if I need to. It have to cut things. Okay, so that's how I'm protect myself. I mean, clothes, I guess, or at least a change of clothes. I don't know. A blanket. Yeah, a blanket.
Blanket's good. I'll accept blanket because it might, when you're in Nebraska, so I'm quite sure it gets cold there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So you definitely going to need a blanket.
Yep.
All right. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your podcast for those who don't know.
Okay, so if you don't know, then you should learn, and you will quickly learn. But nah, my show is Tamara to the Break of Dawn. The show is literally about me, on and on and on till the break of dawn. You feel me? I talk about my life. I talk about my struggles. It's a lot focused on the things I'm struggling with, the ways I'm trying to grow, encouraging the listeners to do the same. New episodes drop every Thursday. I also have a YouTube channel, same name, Tamara to the Break of Dawn.
I gotta ask, because I never asked before.
Okay.
Where did you get the name from?
So my first name's Tamara, my middle name is Dawn.
Okay.
And I'm a person who just likes a good play on words. I write. So like till the break of dawn is a thing, but Tamara Dawn is a thing that begins and ends that statement. Yes. So it's just a play on, till the break of dawn.
Because see, till the break of dawn is an LL Cool J song.
Yep. Yeah.
I love LL Cool J song.
Yeah.
Did she get that from LL Cool J?
No, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about Tamara till the break of dawn.
You almost got up there with me and then you just threw it away.
Man, this is I don't know, but there's still more show. There's still time for me to redeem myself. In addition to that, I blog, so podcast blog. I've been podcasting a little over a year. Writing, man, I've been writing for like 15 years, but I had a writer. Thank you. It's a great outlet for me. But then I had writer's block, so that's how the podcast came before the blog that I just launched. I am a single parent. I have a 21-year-old son, an 18-year-old daughter, and a 17-year-old daughter. So I'm almost done. Not that you're ever really done, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, almost about your house,
right? And I have worked in the social work field for the last over a decade. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
That's pretty cool. That's really cool, actually.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to ask you about your writing because you've been writing for a minute. Mm-hmm. And as somebody who used to write, and you said you had writer's block and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. How hard is it to find that creative outlet when it comes to writing? Because I used to write for websites and things like that. And when you're writing, especially when you're trying to like take it to that next level, it's hard because a lot of people don't like to pay for writers.
Yeah.
Everybody won't work for free.
Mm-hmm.
And you always have to stay creative. So I want to ask you a little bit about that.
So I guess I'll just talk about my writing journey because that's pretty much everything is this thing, So when I first started writing, I just kind of wrote poetry and kind of stuck with that. Well, if I'm honest, when I think back, I wrote and I would always have a diary and all that as a kid. So really, I've been writing longer. And when I get to my writing style, that part will make sense. But started with just poetry, but it's always been reflective. I'm just just like my show, I talk about me, the ways I'm trying to grow. It's really, I'm an external processor. So either when I write or when I even do the podcast, like I'm processing my life and my thoughts and whatever. So started off with just poetry, and I at church wrote a poem for something. So a lot of it was initially just pretty like faith based, either me writing about something I was struggling with or a conversation with God or whatever. So it's always kind of been about me processing my thoughts and how I'm trying to grow.
So let me ask you this then. What poets did you like? Like, what was your poets that you read and things like that?
See, that's the interesting thing. And I've been asked questions like, oh, who's your favorite author and all these things. And it's not that I don't read but I can't say I've really read poetry books a ton. So I can't even I like Maya Angelou poems, but I'm not going to say she's my favorite. That's just the first person that comes to mind. You know what I mean?
Because that's the one you learned in school.
Yeah. And so honestly, I can't say that I have a poet that I could tell you a couple authors that I like just that write books, because I was always into reading like fiction books that usually Black authors. So like Zane, part 2 to The Coldest Winter Ever. I think that's what that book is called. That's coming out soon after like 20 years. Eric Jerome Dickey, RIP, because he just passed away from cancer. But so I could tell you authors, but not so much poets. I don't know. I've just always been into rhyming. I was into rap for a little bit. So I just, I don't know. But then I started playing around with stories, even trying to write like plays, or my cousin was trying to have me write a screenplay for her. So like a movie, but like a mini one. And she just kind of told me the idea of what she wanted, and never finished it because life got in the way. And then I got into blogging, and blogging would kind of be more so journal, but it started off with just a lot of poems, and here we are.
That's cool. You never thought about having any writers or people that you like on the podcast to talk to you about it? Especially authors that you say you like, you should try to reach out to them and get them on the podcast.
See, I'm not gonna say I've ever thought of that. That actually is a great idea.
Once in a while, I'm smart.
So, no, I've never thought of that. I have thought of ideas, but for me, writing is like my blog is literally just, I like to take a random, whatever inspires me and whatever it makes me think and feel, I write about it. And I'm a descriptive writer because I want you to feel where I'm coming from. So even when I talk about stuff on my show, it's like I like to focus more on the emotion or stuff like that we can all agree on. We're not going to always agree on if I got shot, everybody can't relate to getting shot. I've never been shot.
Yes.
But if I say I was wounded or I was fearful, everybody can relate to that regardless of the, circumstances causing it. So I like to focus a lot on drawing people into an emotion and then kind of trailing off, kind of like you do what you want with that,
I like that. It's very, I won't say hard. I guess it is kind of hard to get into that creative process, especially when you have kids in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that like for you? Because I know in terms of me, my kids are still relative. They're not young anymore, but they're still that age where they have to ask me 1,000 questions. My son is 15.
Okay.
My daughter's 13.
Okay.
And they always want to ask questions, but I'm always doing stuff. So what is that like for you? Even though your kids are older now, I'm quite sure it's a process of like, hey, let mom do what she got to do right now.
Yeah, so I've had to do things like when I'm recording, like right now, for example, put that on we have a family iPhone calendar so that being intentional with having time with them. We talk a lot because we're all home a lot and stuff like that. But then also them understanding like recording is important to me. And there was a point when there wasn't the balance and I was putting more into the podcast and blog and all that than they felt was coming to them. But it's really just I wasn't being intentional. So they expressed that. And I'm like, okay, this is important to me. So I'm not going to stop doing it because it's helping me. It's like a therapeutic outlet. But what I'll do is I'm going to put things on the calendar so that this block of time is my time. Just like I want them to put like, oh, their work schedule, because I take them back and forth to work. Not all of them, my daughters. And so I need to know also if I'm planning to record, then I need to know when I can't, to be available for what they need. So it's kind of like they're old enough that they have their own lives. They want to be around their friends. They work, they're in school. One's in high school, one's a freshman in college. And so as long as I communicate when I'm not available and also make sure to be intentional about having time with them, it's been fine because they're old enough to understand like when they have to do stuff, they got to do stuff. So when I got to do some, they get it.
That's pretty cool, actually. That's good that you kind of have this schedule that you can do what you got to do and not impede on anything that you're doing.
Yeah, and it's funny because when I invite people to be on the show, I'll give them like this day I'm available from this time, like just somewhere in this window, and it's very specific, just very organized, and I kind of have to be because if I'm not, or if I don't write it down or really just put it in the calendar, like my daughter wants me to cut her hair, so she put it on the calendar because she was like, if she knows if she says it to me in passing, I'll say yes, and I fully intend to do it. But then if I forget and she doesn't remind me, it's not gonna get done, and then it'll be 2 o'clock in the morning, and she's mad because I didn't cut her hair, and it's too late at that point. So yeah, communication though is definitely how we make it work so that I can do what I want to. I ain't gonna say need to do. It's a need.
Yeah, I caught that. The fact that you said you need to do, and it's a process. Explain that a little bit to me because I feel very much the same way how podcasting is an outlet for me to express myself in the best way possible. And when I don't do it, I feel it. And there's times I probably need breaks from it and things like that. But at the same time, having this outlet that we have now to be able to record things and talk to people and do what we do on our podcast helps. It's very therapeutic. So I want you to explain that process, what it's like for you when you record and doing your thing with the blog and everything like that.
Yeah. So the blog, we'll start with that because that's kind of newer and I'm still figuring that out. Everything is always in process. Like a lot of times I like to be free spirited in the things I could be free spirited and then have structure for the things that I know I need structure. So with like blogging and podcasting, the structure part is every Thursday an episode is going to drop. I don't take breaks because for me, this is my public journal. It really is. So it's fueled by the things I'm inspired by or the things I'm passionate about, or because I've talked about working with youth. I've done youth ministry for about 15. Well, this is the first time I'm not doing it, but I did do it for 15 years. Then there's things that inspire me. So I don't know. That could be anything. But also then I recently added a power recap show. So that's my favorite. That's pretty much the only TV show I faithfully watch every episode.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's not that I don't get into other shows, but for many years now, I really don't watch TV. I rather do other things. And so when I watch TV, I watch every episode of that show. Outside of that, I might get a little into something, but it's not like I have to, But anyways, so then that's kind of, podcasting could be whatever, but ultimately it's me processing my feelings and my emotions and my thoughts, and especially with the blog, because I process things so much deeper when I write, because I can see what I'm kind of like getting out, whereas when I talk, I get it out, but I usually forget what I already said sometimes. And so then at least with blogging, I can see and, whatever. And so, man, on the show, I pretty much, the first episode was me talking about how hard it is being vulnerable with people. And then from there, it's literally just whatever I'm struggling with, whatever, like grief. The girls, not to make it all super sad right now, but the girl's dad was killed 5.5 years ago. And so I've done grief journal episodes where I talk about either how it's affected me, how it's affecting the girls, and what we're struggling with. And so I've kind of just made my life with wisdom, an open book. And so for the show, when I either get all that yuck out, maybe the problem's not fixed, but at least, the negative feelings are out. When I get that out, there's that release. And so sometimes I figure things out as I talk it out. You know what I mean? So it's almost like I used to go to therapy, but because I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, I'm not saying I know everything, but I know a lot of stuff. I realized I don't necessarily need to learn coping skills. I just need somebody to listen. So that's how I figure my life out.
I think that's really cool and commendable that you kind of figure that out, because a lot of times when we have tragedies, some people don't come back from them.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about like physically, like mentally, they're just not there anymore. They lose something.
Right.
And for you to be able to challenge that tragedy and to express your feelings, whether it's in a blog or the podcast, that's a powerful thing, honestly.
I can't take full credit for that. I have to, sorry to interrupt you, because I have a relationship with God, so my faith and all that plays a huge factor in my sanity, because it's been an insane 5.5 years.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like anytime you lose somebody, especially somebody that's really close to you, that's a hard pill to swallow. Yeah. And it kind of tests your faith a little bit.
Oh yeah, a lot of it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And I commend you, because people have kind of made this a slogan these past couple of years, because it's been showing that Black women are just strong. And to the point where these last couple of years, Black women have been carrying this country on their back, whether it's with their voting, whether it's with their voices being heard and spoken, just in every facet of things. But at the same time, when I say we, I mean men and everybody else around us, have to understand that Black women need that support too. Sometimes we have to let them be heard. We have to let them express their feelings and express themselves. We can't just hey, here go another load of problems for you to deal with. We got to come out there and support them.
And the crazy thing is, we're strong, and I'll say this confidently for all of us. We're strong because we have to be. Yeah. I always get frustrated when people say how strong Black women are, because we don't have any choice but to be. We do what we have to do. We don't have a choice.
Yeah, it's true. But to y'all credit, a lot of people under that type of pressure fold.
Yeah,
straight up fold. There, a lot of times when you have mothers who just single mothers have to take care of kids, they don't do what they got to do. They fold under that pressure, and they don't do the responsible thing and be good parents and stuff like that. And a lot of things that, for the most part, I see Black women do that. Damn. In terms of having a job, raising kids, if they're married, taking care of the husband and having their back, and the husband having their back. It's not an easy thing, especially in this America. In the past 4 years, have been a crapshoot in terms of how we as African Americans have been treated in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I say this because it feels like this is me putting my conspiracy theory hat a little bit, but I feel like there's been a conscientious effort to divide the Black home and Black families and put us against each other.
I believe it. That's not a conspiracy. That's fact because that's part of the. Is it? I don't want to. It's that book where it's part of where they. I can't remember, and I don't want to. Just never mind because I can't think of.
I know I get what you're talking about because it's a constant thing where, especially now, anytime you look on social media or things like that, it's always Black men this, Black women that.
Mm-hmm.
And while we having these kind of debates about who doing this wrong, who doing that wrong, we're not taking time to praise each other for the things we do right.
Right.
And I feel like that's the type of thing that kind of holds us back. Instead of us sitting there crapping on what Black men or Black women do, we should praise each other and help bring each other up and bring our communities up that way.
Yeah, definitely.
So when I see somebody like you being positive, but also being honest about what you go through, I commend you on that.
Thanks. I do it because a lot of people feel like they're the only one going through whatever, experiencing whatever, dealing with whatever. And a lot of times that brings about shame, depending on what the scenario is. So then when you hear someone saying, not only they either are going through or understand or whatever, and in some cases overcame it, it's like encouraging for one, just knowing you're not the only one, but then also kind of gives you some hope. So that's always my hope. I don't share all my business because if there's no point in me sharing it, you know, what is the point? But I'm very transparent about my struggles though.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. And somebody out there is hearing your podcast and reading your blogs and getting something from it.
That's the hope.
And I always kind of like, I look at it like, talk about my podcast a little bit. It's weird. I've been doing it now for like 3-4 years now. And it's always weird to hear people tell me that they listen to the podcast and they learned something from the podcast or they found some information out they did or helped them through some hard times. But that's kind of what we do when you're creative. Those are the things that you're doing for people that you don't even realize you're doing. So we touch people's lives every day and we don't even know we're doing it sometimes. I think that's dope. That's why I keep doing it.
Yeah, because you don't know who's listening unless they reach out or tweet or whatever, you know, you don't know who's listening, but that's why I always appreciate the people who DM me and say, man, I really felt this, or I needed to, especially when they say they needed to hear it.
Yeah.
And so my listeners are why I keep going, because I was thinking about this. What if all of a sudden, for whatever reason, everybody was like, man, forget her show, and nobody listened anymore? I would probably still record for a little while because it's like, okay, I know, you know, trends happen and this, that, and the other. But then if after a while, I'd probably stop because it's like, well, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate my listeners.
Definitely. I appreciate when they message me, even when they message me things like they hate me because I said something they didn't like.
Oh, really?
See, you haven't gotten that yet. I haven't gotten it to a bad degree. But I've got some people who've been like, look here, Delvin, you're talking a little bit too Black.
Man, I mean, we'll see what this episode that's about to drop, because I kind of go into some stuff and like kind of not go in on people disrespectfully, because I really just in general don't try to disrespect people. But I'm going to speak truth. And if the truth hurts, sometimes it does, but it also sets you free if you're willing to receive whatever is supposed to happen. So
yeah, sometimes you got to have honest conversation with people and be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people don't want to hear it.
Nope.
But If you didn't do it, you wouldn't be being true to yourself. So
Right.
keep doing your thing.
Yep. That's the plan.
So what's your plans for the future of your podcast? Where do you want to take it? Do you have any idea of any dream guests you want to have on, even though I just gave you the idea of having guests on that are big?
Yeah. Well, I already kind of two things. One, doing more YouTube videos, like really getting more into that. I kind of just started doing, I only would upload the audio because I think someone asked me to, because they don't listen to podcasts and would struggle listening on the Anchor app. It would always close. So then I just would upload just the audio at first with a little basic visual for the background. And then I think it was Mike from Off the Record podcast kept saying, like, you should go live. You should do this. That brings in a different,
Audience.
Audience and this, that, and the other. And I was kind of like, okay, maybe, and then I had to get a setup that I felt was cool, because how my room was set up, which is where this setup is, was different, and I didn't want the whole world seeing my bed and dresser and just all that. So then I had to get a green screen, and then I started doing videos. Now, how it is now is what people see, because I don't care if you see this. It's a butterfly. I love butterflies. If you want to see it, buy me something butterfly, okay? No. No, but and so I want to I've been thinking of like YouTube exclusive content.
Smart.
To put, just so that, because sometimes I'll drop episodes that, like one time I recorded an episode while driving somewhere. No. I was parked waiting on somebody, and they were in an appointment for an hour. So I recorded an episode because I was frustrated. So that was an audio exclusive episode, because I didn't drop a YouTube video. So I've been thinking of like YouTube exclusive content, because I'm all about how can I build upon what I'm doing, in different ways. Merchandise, kind of expanding more into that, kind of just start being creative. Like, the sky's the limit, and so far from what I see, everything I set my mind to do, it works out better than what I thought it was going to. As far as guests, I don't want to say too much with that, but I'm kind of working on getting some guests on that, like reaching out to some celebrities for this specific thing that I'm working on. We'll see. Fingers crossed it works out, but if not, I'm not tripping, because at the end of the day, I don't have to have guests. I went 9-10 months, holding it down solo. So I know I can hold it down solo. So if podcasters don't want to come on for whatever reason, I would just, accept it. As long as I still got my listeners, then I'm going to keep creating or keep writing or keep, so that's kind of.
Trust me when I say, you can always get a podcast on your show. It is never a problem to find a podcaster to come on a podcast.
And even my friends, because I've had, majority of my guests have been other podcasters, but some have been friends that are not podcasters. And then my little brother, the Power recap show that Baylor and I do, my little brother is the third person, and he's not a podcaster. We just would always talk about Power every week after we watch it. Like, we watch it on Sunday, and by Monday, or sometimes, because he watches it Saturday at midnight, so sometimes he would watch it, later or whatever. I mean, he would text me Sunday morning and be like, "Did you watch it yet?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't watch it yet." But yeah, for the most part, pretty much every podcaster I've had on, they've been, with it. But yeah, that's kind of the YouTube exclusive content. I was thinking about that the other day.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
A lot of there's a whole other audience out there who's just on YouTube, who doesn't listen to podcasts, who don't have any interest in listening to podcasts.
Yeah, and those are two different types of people because I listen to podcasts. I rarely watch YouTube videos. It's like it gotta be I don't know what for me to. I'd rather listen to while I'm doing something else because it doesn't demand a bunch of my time. I mean attention and stop me from now. If I'm supposed to be watching a YouTube video, I gotta pay attention because obviously there's visuals that you factored into this. So it's a different but my daughter on the other hand, she'll watch my YouTube videos now that there's visuals and you can see, but even with that it's only a certain guess because she feels like she knows me and thinks she knows what I'm gonna say or whatever. Plus she can hear me sometimes recording because her room is next to mine. And so she's like, I already heard it. But if it's a guest episode or an episode that somehow she didn't hear, she might listen to it. So it kind of just depends.
That's pretty cool, though. That's pretty cool that your daughter listens to your show and stuff like that.
Yeah. To my knowledge, she's the only. But my little brother, he is probably the most faithful family member that listens because he was kind of who I talked to when I was leading up to launching, kind of like talking through it with him as I was trying to whatever, because he was already listening to podcasts.
My son now listens to podcasts, and he now listens to my podcast, and it terrifies me.
And see, that's the thing, because I don't get to now. If I go on other people's shows, I feel like I've noticed I may be a little bit more, I'll just say wild to, whatever. Take that how you want, folks. But on my show, because I know some of the people that listen, like one of them is my mentor, and I know my grandma has listened. I know my mom has listened, and so, and also the focus of the show is a journal and my growth. So if certain things come up naturally, just out of nowhere in the conversation, because I don't have a script. I have either a thought that I start with, depending on the type of episode, or I'll have a topic and maybe a few bullet points if it's like, I don't want to forget this, you know what I mean? But for the most part, it's just whatever.
Yeah, I have guests on who are sometimes a lot wilder than me at points in time.
Yeah, I just let my guests do them on the show. No one's too wild. Some will ask, can I cuss? And I'm like, do you? Because they notice, well, it used to be I didn't cuss at all. And then I don't know what happened, but, whatever. So they noticed that about my show. So they would. And also, I don't really cuss a ton in general. I'm not going to say I don't, but it's not like, a lot or whatever. So I just let them do them, though.
Yeah, I try not to curse on the show a lot. Because strangely, I have a lot of pastors that listen to this show.
Oh, okay.
I mean, an absorbent amount. And they message me.
Okay. I know that people from my church listen. I know one for sure because she's told me. I know others have. I don't know if they still listen. If you do, shout out to y'all. But I said that like this is my show. Never mind. Let's see if they hear this. Well, anyways, yeah, but I don't know about like if my pastor or anybody listens. But it is what it is.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a fun conversation.
Yeah.
I have to have you back on real soon.
Oh, y'all, I made it past the pineapples on the pizza, y'all.
Yes.
I thought you were done with me at that point.
Not at all. Now, see, but then you do a podcast with Bella, so I don't know.
Wow. I don't have nothing. Hey, man, I don't.
Joking. Bella's my guy. Even though
I'm going to say that's the homie, but I don't. That's all I can say.
Bella's my boy. Homie. Just don't want to let me buy no merch, so I don't know what's up with that.
Oh no.
I keep telling him, hey, send me that link so I can buy Soccer's Porch you, and he ain't sent a link over yet.
I don't think he has a link yet.
He's an awful person then.
No, I think he's only doing like if you see him post something and you like it, you DM him. Cause I've hit him up like, hey, how do I get that shirt? I haven't bought anything yet because I ain't had it like that. But it's coming though. But
I'm just gonna one day just pop him like $30 in his Cash App and say, send me something.
That's kind of probably what you might as well do, because it's either that or text him and let him know. So, yep.
Definitely. All right. Let everybody know where to find your podcast at.
All right. So, again, y'all.
And your blog.
Yes. Oh, okay. So, the blog is called The Intimate and Funny Musings of Tamra. It can be found at tamrathedawn.com. So, TAMARA, every other letter's a A. The Dawn, DAWN.com. You can also find my podcast, my YouTube. Like, that's like the one-stop shop for the link to everything related to me. Well, not like that, but to the show and the brand and all that. So then the show is Tamra Till the Break of Dawn. You can find it on every major podcast platform. That's also the YouTube channel name. Episodes drop every Thursday, and then I'll have bonus episodes and stuff like that. YouTube's drop usually at midnight on Thursday. Episodes drop 4 a.m. See, that's where the structure comes in. I talk about whatever I'm going through, how I'm trying to grow, and encourage y'all to do the same. And yeah, that's the blog comes out the 1st and the 15th of every month.
There you go.
Yep.
So make sure you check all that stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Support her.
Mm-hmm.
Check out us.
If you want to buy, okay. So, and if y'all could see this tea, because I've been drinking coffee, the Tam special, this whole episode. So it's black coffee with either a coffee liqueur or creamer and some alcohol of your choice. I usually go with rum. So one of my friends named it the Tam special. So here we are. On my site, if you want to support me in a different way, buy me a coffee. That'll take you to that link, and you can help fund the Tam special that I drink on every episode.
Okay. Hold on now. What's that site called again?
tamrathedawn.com.
Okay.
I also have merchandise, y'all. So I have hoodies, shirts, phone cases, all kinds of stuff. So that's also, you can find that at the website. That's literally the one-stop shop.
So make sure you guys check it out.
Yep.
And thank you guys for listening to the podcast. And as always, Delvin Cox Experience, we are out. Peace.
Bye.